world full of conventional Hollywood cliches and recurring lackluster sequels, one critic has seen it all, who can provide you with all the movie news, opinions, and reviews that could very well save humanity as we know it. This is Libby's Movie Hunt. And now, your host, Libby Hunt.
Hi there, welcome to Libby's Movie Hunt. I'm your host, Libby Hunt, along with my producer and co-host, Kevin E.
Hey, Libby, how are you?
Good, how are you on this rainy day?
I'm good. Why do we keep having rainy Fridays?
I don't know. It's been a rainy June. I'm tired of it. Makes me want to get back in bed.
But the rain is good weather for movies like The Mummy and It Comes at Night.
I know. And we're not going to show her, but I have my cute mom in the studio behind me. She wanted to come and hear us do our show today.
I wish she'd come on with us.
I know. Maybe she'll check it out today and decide if she wants to come in. I need to get my dad because he is such a movie fan to come
definitely.
too. But my mom and dad really introduced me to the love of cinema and theater and all things theatrical. So thanks for being here, Mom. Okay, be thinking of something you can say. But we are going to talk about today The Mummy, Churchill, and It Comes at Night. So, Kevin, we both saw The Mummy.
We did.
So, what are your we haven't talked. A lot of times we don't even talk about it.
I know, we didn't say anything about it yet.
Say anything about it until we get here.
I have no idea what you think about this movie.
So, okay, give us, before we say what we thought about it, give us a little synopsis of the film.
Okay, well, as far as, previous renditions of the story, it doesn't stray too far in terms of the actual plot itself. You have the soldier character, except it's in present day rather than others who are.
And it's Tom Cruise this time instead of Brendan Fraser, right?
And basically, he's in, I think it's Iraq at the beginning, and they sort of accidentally, while running, discover the tomb of the mummy. It's always an accidental, some kind of discovery. Oh, I guess I should give the background of the actual mummy. It's a similar thing where I don't know why in these movies these people in ancient Egypt are so willing to sell their soul, and then
Yes.
it always ends badly. But yeah, basically you have it's a female mummy this time rather than the male, but the story is pretty similar. Sells her soul for power and whatnot, and ends up being thrown into buried alive with a bunch of scarabs. They have that whole thing is the same, and then the soldier accidentally finding it in present day.
Right.
Where it differs,
and he's also he's a soldier, but he's one of these soldiers of fortune. He's out looking for treasures, and which you're really not supposed to be doing when you're a soldier.
Exactly, and that's why they basically put the sarcophagus that they find on their own plane, not a military sanctioned plane.
Exactly.
Which crashes. And then this is where really I think it's different in terms of the story. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the original Mummy. But he crashes and survives. He's the only person who lives and has this power because somehow they match up. He and the mummy are a perfect match for whatever it is, some kind of world conquering.
They didn't really
I'm
explain that very
on
well. Yes, that needs way more explanation.
Definitely. And then this, I have no idea if this is something that was present in other Mummy movies, but you have Russell Crowe in it,
right?
Who's part of this organization that basically is like sort of like the Dark Knights in the original Mummy, the ones who protect it, and except it's in modern time. It's this organization that's supposed to protect against supernatural powers.
Right, and keep him hidden.
Yes.
But he also is Dr. Henry
He's Dr.
Hyde.
Jekyll. Yeah, which is weird. And I'm like, is this like a Jekyll and Hyde thing?
Are they going to add that into it?
Are they going to throw this in? What does it have to do with the Mummy? I'm not sure. But it does turn out that he is Dr. Jekyll of Jekyll and Hyde.
And I wanted him to be in it more, didn't you, though? I wanted that character to be seen a little bit more, Russell Crowe's character.
Yes, he was a good character. And then, you basically just had this clash of all these three different people and these elements playing together. And that's...
What was that?
I don't know.
Well,
something going on
the
here.
female lead is Annabelle Wallace, who plays Jenny Halsley. And she was in Annabelle, that horror film.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She looked a little bit too young to play Tom Cruise's love interest,
That's
I thought.
true. He looks young. I don't know if he looks that young.
Okay, but I'm
Could have been
have
his
to
daughter.
say, Mom, you a Tom Cruise fan? I mean, he is so cute. He's about my age, and I don't know if he's had some good work done, but he looks great. I mean, he looks great. He looks like he's 40.
Yeah, easily.
He just is so fit. He was. I
And
really
he's
liked
cranking
him in
out
it.
3 or 4 action movies a year still.
Yes, I know. So and then who else? Also Annabelle, the girl who played the Jenny. She was in King Arthur, Mine, Brothers Grimsby. So she's been around. The girl who played the evil
The Mummy, yes.
Mummy was in Star Trek.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. She was the alien who was marooned on the planet who's been living there the whole time in Star Trek Beyond.
I don't know if I'm going to even try and
I'm not
pronounce
gonna
her
even
name.
try. I'm not gonna
Let's not
try.
even try.
I'm
That's
not
kind of
gonna
our
try.
thing. We like to butcher celebrities' names. And then Jake Johnson played Sergeant Vale, his little cohort.
His buddy, yeah.
But he gave the comedic relief in the movie. I thought he was really cute and
He
funny.
was good.
And he was in Jurassic World. And did you ever see Let's Be Cops? He was hilarious.
That's right.
In
I
that.
forgot he was in that.
He's funny.
Yeah, he is.
But
funny.
how come he all of a sudden became a mummy? Was he bitten by a poisonous evil spider? Remember, he became a zombie or whatever?
This is something I wanted to ask you also, and let our listeners know. Because I'm like, if this plot sounds overly convoluted the way I'm explaining it, I promise that's not my fault. It's just the way the movie is.
It's very convoluted.
If you want just kind of the gist, you can get what it's, from the trailer. But as far as like the detailed elements of the plot, I'm still a little confused.
I'm very confused. But okay.
But lots of death and resurrection and supernatural power.
But anybody that loves zombie movies, I consider these people are basically zombies because they're eating. Wouldn't
Right.
you?
Yeah.
I think for zombie lovers, they'd love it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, and it's directed by Alex Kurtzman, who did recently Now You See Me, that movie with the kids were, magicians making things.
Right. Yeah, there was a sequel also.
And he's a good director. But The Mummy got not only 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it's down to 19 now.
Oh.
It's in the teens.
So what do you give it?
Well, I just want to say from the very beginning, it seemed apparent to me that this movie tries way too hard to be more than what it is. It's not just like a fun summer blockbuster. It tries too hard to be serious or scary or evolved. I'm not sure exactly. It just feels like it's trying too hard. The acting is okay. It just didn't really keep my attention that much. I didn't think it was that exciting like the way I did when I saw the Brendan Fraser Mummy when I was a kid. Like that was just good old-fashioned fun. And this just doesn't have it. It doesn't have any of that campiness. It doesn't have any of the goofiness, which something that played very well for a movie about a mummy.
Every once in a while, though, Tom Cruise did crack a few jokes that kind of surprised me that worked well.
There were some lines. Yeah, it's not totally a completely somber outing, but it didn't have the fun that the original did, in my opinion. The directing's okay. It feels a little too long.
Well, see, I don't agree with you because you and I have been talking about like Superwoman and some of these
Yes.
movies are just 20, 15 minutes too long. This movie ran at an hour 50 or hour 40 something. I thought it was just right.
I thought it felt longer than it
Oh,
was.
you did?
I did.
I thought it was just, I liked the timing. But our rating system, popcorn worthy, half pop, bag full of kernels. What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and have to call this one half pop.
Half pop?
Yep. I'm not going to say bag full of kernels because I wasn't completely devoid of enjoyment. It was pretty fun. It's a good movie to go and get a large popcorn and sit and just kind of zone out. But it's nothing special the way the original was, I think.
Well, I think I give it popcorn worthy. Not highly, not like Superwoman, but I recommend it.
You're going to go ahead and recommend it?
am.
You're going to make that one popcorn
Isn't that
worthy?
funny?
That is funny.
Yeah, I
like it better when we disagree.
I mean, come on, I know, but come on, Tom Cruise. What do I not like him in?
You got a point there, but I thought I don't like the Jack Reacher movies, and I'm a big
I'm
Tom
not
Cruise
a
fan.
I'm not a big fan of those, and I like this better than the Jack Reacher movies.
I would say that also.
But I'm so excited. You were right. Top Gun. I announced it on my my little Instagram and Facebook that he is going to do Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
Mom, did you know that?
Did you all know that the original Mummy was the first horror movie, probably 1949? It's the beginning of the horror genre in films.
Oh, the actual old Mummy movie.
Yes, the original Universal Monster series.
The very first horror movie that
Probably before Frankenstein and Dracula.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the original Mummy.
I don't know if they can hear you, Mom.
No,
My
they
mom
can't.
is saying
Yeah, it's
Y'all can't hear my mom, but she's saying that the original Mummy movie was, in like the 40s, was probably one of the original horror films. But I always loved those. I love the goofy Abbott and Costello Mummy and Frankenstein and all those.
I do too. I somehow never saw the Mummy.
So we liked it okay. So you did. I liked it more than you did.
It's fun, and if you're heading out this weekend and you want to go for something that's light and fun, and you're trying to choose between Wonder Woman, Pirates of the Caribbean, or The Mummy, I'm still gonna have to say go Wonder Woman all the way.
Oh, for sure.
If you're picking between,
I'm
those
going to
three.
see it again this weekend.
You're gonna see The Mummy again?
No, I'm going to see Wonder Woman
Wonder
again.
Woman again.
Because you and I always talk about if we really like something, we see it 2 or 3 times.
True. I saw
That's-
Alien Covenant twice.
You did? I got to go back. My true sign of a superb movie on my scale is go see it. I want to see it 2 or 3 times. But so, this is the blockbuster time of year. And you and I we prefer, well, you love science fiction, but we prefer the art house independent films more. but this is definitely block. But we've got
Definitely.
Baywatch, we've got The Mummy, we've got Wonder Woman, and I was on Brian Glenn's show the other day, radio show, and he wanted to hear my thoughts on Wonder Woman, and he thought this was an interesting fact, and I brought it up to you, and I wrote out more of how we said that the term blockbuster started when Star Wars came out.
Right.
And why that happened is the movie had been out for a few weeks, and the lines were, twisting around the corner. And the term blockbuster was born then because the lines would come to the edge of the street, pause for the asphalt, and then, interrupt again enthusiastically on down the road. So that's how Blockbuster got started.
Yep.
Isn't that funny?
That is awesome.
Yeah, so Brian's like, I like that fact, Libby. That's a good
That's a
little
good
piece of
one.
movie trivia.
Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows it. So now you know because of Libby's movie hunt. Okay, we're moving on to Churchill.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
would you see The Mummy again?
No,
Okay. Would you see Pirates of the Caribbean again?
no.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, with the
They're-
exception of Wonder Woman, I think it's been fairly disappointing
Yeah,
blockbuster
they're-
season so far.
For blockbusters, they're watchable. I don't think The Mummy and deserve 20% Rotten Tomatoes,
No, I would put it probably in the 50%
Yeah.
maybe range.
but neither of them I would see again. But I enjoyed them. A movie that I thought would do better on Rotten Tomatoes is Churchill. It only got 33%.
I'm shocked at that.
But basically, it's the story of Churchill. Before he attempts to stop. I never knew this was part of history. Stop the planned invasion of Normandy in 1944. Did you know that?
No.
King George V really wanted to go on with it, and Churchill didn't. And so he goes through this kind of crisis of physical and mental kind of collapse. And his wife, which her name is, I didn't know her name was Clementine Churchill, kind of is the only one that could get him through it. But it's what's his name? Churchill is played by Brian Cox,
Who I love.
who is such a sensational actor. He was in the Bourne Identity films.
Yep. He was the original Hannibal Lecter.
Yes, and I just came across that the other night.
Manhunter.
Manhunter. He was the original Hannibal Lecter, and he was great.
He was really good.
Miranda Richardson who plays Clementine Churchill. John Slattery plays Eisenhower.
And I'm a huge fan of John Slattery from
I know.
Mad Men, and he was perfectly. I mean, I saw the
So-
trailer for Churchill. I'm like, he could not be more perfectly cast
for
as
Eisenhower. Like I could see him doing his own Eisenhower movie.
Yeah.
James Purefoy played King George V. So it was. I give it. Here's the deal. My rating system also have Oscar worthy. I give the movie probably a half pop rating, but I give Brian Cox's performance as Churchill Oscar worthy.
That's Oscar worthy.
Yes.
It's weird when you're in a movie that's not Oscar worthy, but the performance is Oscar worthy.
I think if people will remember this film by next January, whenever submissions go in, he will be nominated. His performance is that good. So
That's one. It wouldn't surprise me just because he's such a great actor, and I don't know that he's ever been. I don't know that he's ever won.
I know. He's really good. And he's been around how many, 30, 40 years. He's still just plugging along.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, and I totally lost my train of thought.
Do you have any desire to see this film?
I do, but it has a 33% Rotten Tomatoes. However, the audience score is pretty good. It has a 70%.
Mom
so I mean,
probably-
it means
my
for the
mother
most part,
sitting-
audiences liked it. But
Doesn't know about Rotten Tomatoes probably. Tell the viewers probably do, but tell them what this is
Sure.
again.
Rotten Tomatoes is basically a giant aggregator for movie reviews. So what it does is it takes all the top critic reviews from around the country, and the number of them, they determine whether they liked it or not, and they come up with a percentage based on those who liked it and those who didn't. So the percentage of critics can sometimes be different than the audience. People who are just fans, anyone can log on there and be an audience member and rate it also. So if a movie has, say, 10,000 audience ratings and they're good, then I'm inclined to say, hey, maybe this is something I should still check out, even though the critics deemed
So
it
what were you
rotten.
saying, Churchill? The viewers liked it.
Yes, it has a 33%, which is, I mean, really, really low for
Right.
a movie like this. But the audience score is a 70%. Yeah, 33% from critics.
Let me ask this about Churchill. We doubted seeing it because that miniseries on Churchill was so fabulous.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm not even aware of this.
I'm not. Mom is saying there's a mini series. See, she should be on camera. She's like chiming in back there.
Yes, yeah, at least be on a mic.
Be on mic. I mean,
I thought that was odd for them to come out with that. It was a very successful miniseries that was just went on this year.
oh, I didn't even see it. Well, Mom and Dad, I think your generation, and I think it's people should go see it. I mean, even though I'm kind of giving it half popped, I'm giving it probably you should go see it for this man's performance, you know?
Right.
It's almost done a little bit like a play too. It's not in a lot of, you don't have a lot of action, which, you know, is not, it's kind of boring for some people.
Repetitive kind of scenery. And
Yeah. You know, it's like at his place at the palace, you know, you don't move around that much. Okay. How are we doing on time?
We're good. I mean, with the actors and alone, they probably blew a lot of the budget just on that. I mean,
Paying for, yeah, that's a good. Well, that's what I was going to say. It's just a sensational cast. Oh, I don't think I wrote down. Oh, the director, his name is Jonathan Teplitzy, and he directed The Burning Man.
I have no idea what that is.
I know, and he hasn't done a lot of things. So I thought
You're right. That's his highest rated movie. No, I've not heard of it.
I know. I don't know him. So that's interesting. I think maybe if it had a better director, it would have been more of a success. There's a movie this weekend coming out with Rachel Weisz called Rachel. Isn't that right, Mom?
Oh, My Cousin Rachel.
My Cousin Rachel, which looks good. It's the same remake. So I can't wait for that. But the other movie that I saw, and you didn't get to see it,
No, I've not seen it yet.
It Comes at Night. Oh, and I wanted you to look up the director for me. But it's a horror film, which is Kevin's favorite, except for science fiction. And I'm not a huge horror film, but I wouldn't even consider this a horror film. I consider it more of a psychological thriller. It's basically this, you know, kind of an apocalyptic deal. This family is in the secured, isolated house in the forest because there's something unnatural in the world that is killing people. So they've hunkered down in this house. This guy comes and knocks on their door. This family, it's Joel Edgerton, you know, he was in Loving this year.
Yes.
That got nominated. And he was also the bad guy in The Gift.
Yeah. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but always pretty small roles.
Yes, he's a great actor. He's British, but he's obviously not playing a British guy. Then Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, is in it. Christopher Abbott from Wisco Tango Foxtrot with Tina Fey is in it. And Carmen Ejeiro from The Purge and Alien Covenant is in it. And then the boy Kelvin, which is such a funny name, Harrison, he was in Birth in the Nation and 12 Years a Slave. He plays their son. So basically, this couple and their son are in this house hiding out from this whatever's killing people. And this man knocks on his door and he's like, my family needs help. They're like, okay, come in. And he comes in with their child. And then the man that's protecting his house basically he kind of becomes almost monstrous and crazy because his mistrust overcomes him and he becomes kind of crazed.
So it's almost like...
it's a psychological thriller, really.
Almost sounds a little like 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, a lot like that. But then there's some dream sequences. There's this red door that's knocked on. I mean, so you see the screen, the promos for it, and you think it's going to be a horror film. But so it
certainly sounds like a horror film.
It's really not. But here's the deal, because you're like, did you like it? Well, it's getting 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm very confused about. Literally at the end, it is the most disappointing ending ever.
Is it like a twisting, like a Shyamalan or
no? It's just like you're
just...
sitting there going, "What?" I sat by this girl and we were both like, "What?" So disappointing. Like it was so bad. I can't even remember to tell you what the ending was now that I was so disappointed in. It was so unforgettable.
I remember that's how I felt after originally seeing the Blair Witch Project.
Forgettable. I mean, yeah.
I remember being like, "What?"
Just disappointed.
Yeah. Very
lackluster ending. So I just really can't recommend it.
It doesn't wrap it up? There's no sense of closure?
No, no sense of closure at all. The director, though, I really have high hopes for this director. His name is Trey Edward Schultz.
And he's only directed 2 movies.
He did actually this movie that I happen to see because I see everything.
Yeah, you do, because I haven't even heard of this movie.
Cretia. And it's about kind of this crazy alcoholic woman. And this director had interned under Terrence Malick, who is, I believe, a Texas director. You know, he did all these famous movies.
Yep.
And so this kid, Trey Edward Schultz, raised $100,000 and made this movie, Cretia, and his aunt started it, and he filmed it in his mom's house over a weekend, over 3 days, and it won South by Southwest and all these awards. So this is really this is his big movie coming out after that. But I believe he's an Austin filmmaker. Are you finding that anywhere?
I'm not. I'm looking
Texas,
for it.
Which, of course, I'm always supportive of Texas and filmmakers. So that's fun if he is.
Especially horror. This guy should do a Texas Chainsaw movie.
I know. But he has potential. I mean, you can tell Terrence Malick, kind of influenced him, just the kind of surreal, how he films things, just kind of almost dreamlike.
Yeah.
But
surreal, yeah.
Surreal. I would say it had potential, and I would like to see him do something else, but this wasn't his best work.
That is a bummer.
I know. So
Because it looks so good.
I kind of give it, half pop.
Not
Not
that
bad. Full
bad.
of kernels.
I'm going to see it this weekend, and then I'll check back in with you next week and let you know what I thought.
Yeah, go see it.
But I was telling you the other day when we were texting, and a lot of times when there's hype about a horror movie like this and it has a really good critic score, I end up not liking it.
Exactly.
And I don't get why it has such a high score. I felt that way about Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. It has like a 90%, and I went and saw it. I'm like, it was okay. I don't get why it has such a high score, but...
Well, this girl I was sitting by, she's actually a movie critic. She said that, I said, what do you think? She didn't really like it either. She goes, but a friend of hers saw it in Austin and loved it. And she's like, certain people are going to love this movie. So I'm thinking you might really like it, but I want to see what you thought about the ending.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious.
I think I could have given it a lot better rating if I'd liked the ending better.
Yeah.
But we also want to talk about...
A bad ending can totally ruin a horror film.
Oh, I know. I'm
Very
so sad. But we also like to talk about TV things that are streaming. And Mom and I driving over here, we're just talking about how much we like on Netflix, The Fall and The Killing.
The Killing, that's right. I forgot it. Yeah, that it was a short run. It was only three or 4 seasons? 4 seasons?
It's really good.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
Well, The Fall was shorter. The Killing's a little bit longer. But what was it that you liked so much on Netflix and you told me to go watch? It was made after a movie and they made it into a little series.
Wolf Creek.
Okay, Wolf Creek. Kevin. No, Mom, I can't recommend it to you. Kevin. It's so, they chop people up.
I know. The first episode, too, is rough to get through.
Okay, so would it get, I had to just turn it off. It was too much.
You didn't get through the first one?
No.
Oh,
After that one scene where he's like, basically dissecting that person.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that. It is not for the faint of heart. It is
so
gory.
It gets better though. Should I make myself push through?
I mean, if you're not into it, then I would say don't. But
because that bad guy is bad.
Really, really, really bad.
I mean, really bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can recommend that.
But a terrifying villain.
Yeah.
And,
so
an interesting character overall. I mean, I've never seen a show like that.
Well, tell him about it. It had been a movie, right?
Yes. And the whole premise basically is you never know what's going to happen in the Australian outback, and people disappear there all the time or go missing, and a lot of them are never found because anything that moves is more formidable and will kill you in the Australian outback. So yeah, there's this guy who basically preys on tourists.
That's right.
And you don't really know why. You don't get a lot of background on him, but he ends up systematically torturing and killing tourists in the Australian outback and has been getting away with it for a long time. He's almost a smarter, less freakish version of Leatherface, except in Australia. The way I think of it. It is like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which I think is one of the
ways.
scariest movies. Well, so they made it into a series, and what you were saying is so interesting that a movie gets made in, well, like Bates Motel was a movie and made into a series, and that doesn't ever translate very well, but these few times.
Yeah. I mean,
because Bates did a great job.
Great job, and this does as well. It's just like the movies because it has the same original actor playing the villain and everything, so it just feels like a continuation. But yeah, in the very first episode, the plot centers around a girl who her family is very brutally murdered, her entire family, by this guy.
That's right.
She escapes. He doesn't know this, and the whole series is she's basically hunting him down. So it's a pretty cool little cat and mouse tale.
I might turn it back on.
But it is pretty gruesome.
I know. I was watching with my daughter, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this without you.
It looks a little fake, though. I mean,
that's true.
There's some CG. Like, I don't know if you saw in the first part when he shoots like that croc. I'm like, that looked really fake.
Yeah.
And there's some blood splatter that's clearly computer graphics. And I'm like, that doesn't look... That kind of takes something away from it. But I'm sure it's not the highest budget series ever.
But I was like, wow. Okay, also, somebody was asking me if I had seen the Brad Pitt show on Netflix.
Oh, right.
It's about war, but it's like a comedy.
Yeah.
He's like a general... It may be called War.
And it's a Netflix original with Brad Pitt, which is crazy.
I know. So I'll watch that before I come in next week.
They're bringing in the A-listers on Netflix now.
On Netflix. I know someone the other day is like, Libby, I just don't see how you fit all this in, movies and TV shows. And I'm like, my mom's in the room. She used to have me do lots of volunteer work. I'm just not doing that as much, and my kids are older. But it is hard to fit it all in.
It is.
I had to leave something last night to go see The Mummy. So
it is, but somehow it works. I'm always able to fit it in for the most part.
I know. But I'm so glad to have you. I'm so
Too
glad.
many nights up till 3 watching stuff.
I know. Someone the other day, Brian Glenn on air asked me what my favorite film was, and it's so hard for me. And you know what he said? Of course, his was Shawshank Redemption.
That's a great one.
And so, tell me, when you were in film school, didn't they say Shawshank Redemption? If you want to learn how to write a screenplay, that's the film to study.
That, and oddly enough, Back to the Future.
Really?
Everyone says is like the perfect screenplay.
It's perfect screenplay.
Which is over my head. As far as the filmmaking process, I was never that good at that stuff. So,
Well, I'm going to give a speech pretty soon on movies, and I want to break down why everybody does come up with Shawshank. Let's talk about that later.
Shawshank is great, though. It is almost a perfect movie.
It's almost a perfect movie, but why? We need to break that down and figure out why, because it always comes to people's, especially men, I find.
Yeah.
So I throw out always that Out of Africa is
Out
my
of
favorite
Africa.
movie, and I have to figure out in my mind why that is. But then Brian's like, "What else do you like?" And I'm like, "Well, I like Scarface, Goodfellas, The Godfather," and he's like, "Wow, that's a big range there."
That is a pretty big range.
But and I've talked about this several times on the show. You'll be watching TV and you come across Scarface or Goodfellas or Godfather. You cannot turn it off.
Got to run it all the way
Especially
through.
Goodfellas. And you end up staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Actually, Casino is the same way for me.
Casino. Well,
Love
I
it.
mean, Martin Scorsese.
Anything, yeah.
What's he doing that we're so excited about?
Oh,
Devil in the White City with
yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And wait, is that the H.H. Holmes one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that'll be really, really creepy.
I just read that book last summer. It's about that serial killer in Chicago when the World's Fair came up, and he built a hotel and was basically
A torturing,
killing
funhouse,
people in
yeah.
it. And it's called Devil in the White City. Leo's going to play the creepy doctor.
Yeah, America's first serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really creepy.
Martin Scorsese just doesn't make a bad movie.
No.
So that's going to be exciting.
Well, that's way scarier than the Wolf Creek guy. This is real.
Yeah, I know.
But Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't look nearly as scary as Mick Taylor and Wolf Creek.
I know. You and I love those serial killer movies. And
I
my
do.
dad does too. What is that?
I don't know.
And it doesn't scare me. You think it would.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, well.
maybe you should stick through Wolf Creek. Maybe you should stick with it.
I'll watch it again. Well, are we close to then?
We're close. As always, I always have a recommendation for if people want to watch something at home.
Yes, tell us.
Check out, I know I reviewed this on the show before, Bloodfather with Mel Gibson. I just revisited this. It is an awesome movie. Most people don't even know about it.
Wait, is it old, new?
No, it's from 2016.
Did it make it to the theaters? I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think it did.
No. I'm trying to remember how I originally saw it. But no, I don't know that it was ever wide release. But yeah, good story. If you like Mel Gibson,
Bloodfather.
he's definitely still got it. Check that one out if you're looking for something cool to watch at home.
Oh, yay. How'd you find it? Was it on Netflix?
I tracked it for a long time. I was a big fan. I'm a huge Mel Gibson fan. I was
Yeah.
also a huge fan of the movie Get the Gringo, which is on Netflix. If anyone wants to check it out, it's a cool Mel Gibson action movie.
Okay, didn't see that either.
It's a good one. And then I heard
Get the
about
Gringo.
Bloodfather because I was on the Get the Gringo page for IMDb one time, and I said, if you like this, people also checked out this, and I saw Bloodfather, and it wasn't out yet.
Right.
So I read about it, and I'm like, this looks really cool. So as soon as it came out, I was dying to see it.
I loved your lesson you gave me last week on all this Roku and live streaming. And I'm so proud of my parents. They have Netflix now and are watching, so they figured out how to use that. So it's so good. But
yeah.
Cable and TV is all changing, and it's very interesting.
For the
So-
better.
For the better. For
Certainly.
the better.
To tell us more Netflix movies.
We will.
Oh, yes. I do that. I'll have those ready every week because I'm constantly just combing
I do
through
get
Netflix.
I'm getting more and more requests from people or like, please tell us about stuff that streams on TV and Amazon and all these things so we can find them.
Another, real quick, another guys movie if you're looking for something on Netflix that I saw for the first time the other day and I was pleasantly surprised, probably because I had low expectations, but Sin City 2 with Dame to Kill For is on there. And, you know, if you've never seen it, it didn't do well commercially. A lot of people didn't go see it. So if you like the original Sin City and you ever wanted to see the sequel, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's definitely worth
I
watching.
didn't see those movies.
They're
but
pretty good.
I think that they're definitely a guy film. There's
Yes.
the guys like those a lot.
And I didn't like them at first. I had to see it a couple times before I liked the first Sin City.
Well, yes, I may have to check that out. But it's a little science fiction-y too, isn't it?
No, not at all.
No, it's not? That's my word for you, science
Yeah,
fiction-y.
science fiction. Normally that would sum up anything I like.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in, and we're here every Friday at 2 on Watch On Air Live at Vocal Media. And now go enjoy the movies.